Thank you, Deputy. Please be seated. All right, we're on the record in case number CR 19-1535B, State of Nevada versus Stewart Handte. Mr. Handte, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Judge.
And Mr. Stege, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Okay, procedural thing, then a trial setting. Procedural. So, Mr. Handte, on the 31st of May, when I last saw you, and we did the Frederick canvas, and I let you represent yourself, we talked about the status of your eFlex account. You indicated to the court it was, I think the word you used was pending, but I learned today that you didn't actually open the account until the 10th of this month, which sounds like it's one of the reasons you didn't get the court's order from the 7th setting this hearing at 9 o'clock. So what happened?
Judge, I tried to set it up, and I guess there was some still stipulations involving Mr. Pitaro, which, of course, he was electronically served on this hearing today. He shouldn't have to be served. He was terminated from his representation of being on the 31st. So there's cross in the paperwork. That's all I can say.
Okay, you're live now. Is that right?
I'm live, yeah.
With your e-filing and service?
I had my e-file account set up. I did contact the jury commissioner within the 48 hours as designated by you, and spoke to her twice, actually.
Okay, so with respect to service on your prior counsel, I think there's steps we can take to take them off of the e-service. I'll look into that. With respect to the trial setting, it sounds like parties talked to the jury commissioner and you were unable to reach agreement as to what trial flight you should be on. Mr. Stege, where are we on that? And please remind me how many days you anticipate the state needing for trial, please.
Yes, Your Honor, I asked, so the history, on May 31st, email from myself to the defendant and Ms. Lane, asking for 7 days for trial in a B case only, as we talked about last time, and stating my preference for the November 14th trial flight. A response from Ms. Lane June 1st, outlining all available trial flights, including the November 14th, and asking that Mr. Handte reply all to his agreement to the November 14th flight.
Then what happened?
June 2nd, email in reply all fashion from Mr. Handte to Ms. Lane. I have received your email as to the November 14th trial flight. I will respond with my answer within 24 hours as to my response to this trial being set on that schedule or that flight.
Okay.
That's the last I ever heard of it. Then I saw that the court put an order, the order setting this hearing. Yesterday. And here we are.
Well, then stop right there. So, Mr. Handte, did you respond to Ms. Lane on the June 3rd, roughly? And if so, what did you tell her? And if no, why not?
Judge, I spoke to her, actually,
Okay.
on June 3rd. And I said I was opposed, and I have a prepared statement to go into further of my opposition to the trial flight schedule, if I can address the court.
Well, hold on. Right now, the trial flights by administrative order, that's how we're setting trials. If you want to state why you don't like that system, I'll give you a chance to make a brief statement, but we're not here to talk about whether that's a great way to set trials or not. That's the way we're setting them and have been setting them for better part of the last 2 years, and that's the way this is going to be set if something changes.
I appreciate that, Judge, and like I said, this statement will explain that.
Go ahead.
I just want to let you know, I was made aware of today's proceeding for setting a trial date 25 hours prior to this morning's 9 o'clock schedule.
Hold on, let me stop you there. I filed the order on the 7th. If you had stood up your eFlex account that was supposedly pending on May 31st, you would have had notice of it at the same time I filed it.
Judge, the only notice I got was at 05:57.
Okay, and then we learned from you that you got a new job, good, and then you asked us to move it off the 9 o'clock set to sometime after you were off work.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, of course. And you know, if you had gotten the eFlex notice and you saw it and you contact us and said, hey, small conflict, can we move it to the afternoon? No pro. So we did it as an accommodation, here we are.
And then I also want to let know that there was an initial denial of my eFlex account. I have that email. Within a short period of time, then they allowed it to go forward.
Fair enough.
I think, like I said, there's some crossfire between maybe they're still thinking that Mr. Pitaro was representing me still, which kind of goes to why he was being served as well.
Okay.
So, this, for the notification this morning, I was only made aware of the 9 a.m. by my court intake officer, Mr. Meredith, yesterday at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Since I hadn't checked my email, I did found the email sent to me yesterday at 05:57 hours advising of the 9 a.m. court hearing this morning that was moved at your discretion. I appreciate that. Today, contrary to the email received from the prosecutor case, I did in fact converse twice with the jury commissioner, Kaylee Lane, within the designated time that you set out.
Excuse me, sir, you're gonna need to slow down just a little, please.
Okay. Within the designated time frame set up by the court, which was 48 hours. I told Ms. Lane that on both conversations I had with her, that I'm opposed to setting the trial flight date in November this year. I was submitting a motion to the court regarding this and other aspects of my case. I did set up the eFlex account like we just discussed. And last week, I was prepared to file that motion to the court. However, a very serious family emergency arose. And it's an out-of-state family emergency, and it's still ongoing. So that kind of took me back, or else the motion would have already been filed into the court record through my eFlex account. The motion will be filed this week, and it will deal with the trial flight situation, as well as other significant details and aspects that are urgent and substantive matter of my case, prior to setting a trial date in that case. My prior attorneys of record failed to do their due diligence to bring up these issues to the court, yourself, sir. And the Reno Justice Court also failed to disclose the aforementioned details, which will be addressed in the motion to the court. And that's my statement to you.
Okay.
So,
Thank you.
Like I said, I want to file this motion to the court. And then after that motion is filed, we can discuss the file date. But I want to make sure that's into the court record. Now that I have my eFlex account, there should be no problem.
Okay. You may have a seat. So here's what we're gonna do. With all due respect, trial is set November 14th trial flight for 7 days. We'll talk about Mr. Hante's impending motion here in a minute. You are set. I'm ordering you to be set on the November 14th trial flight. Now, there are 2 additional dates we need to get. We talked about what those would be on May 31st. One is a motion to confirm trial. I believe those are being heard by the chief judge, so it'll be in front of Judge Simons. And Mr. Gaynor, do you know when that date would be?
Your Honor, I don't know.
Okay, well, we'll get that to you.
I might be able to help, Your Honor. In the email from Ms. Lane, she indicated that the motion to confirm for that flight is October 26th.
So about a little more than 2 weeks before.
Yes.
Also in Department 6.
It doesn't indicate that, but that's what we've
All
already.
right, that would be the order then. Motion to confirm, and did she tell you what time? Is it 3 or 4 in the afternoon?
It's been 4, but she did not say that.
All right, it'd be
I know that by AO.
Okay, it'll be 4 o'clock in the afternoon in Department 6, unless it gets changed on that date in October for the motion to confirm. Now, we're going to send out an order setting a pretrial conference. I'm not going to have you both contact my judicial assistant. We are going to set a pretrial conference a week or 2 before the motion to confirm. It'll be in person, and we'll handle any pretrial motions that have been filed, fully briefed, and submitted, but not yet decided. Now, Mr. Handte, I do all this without prejudice to your right to file a motion to ask me to vacate the trial date, move the trial date, whatever you're gonna do. But I'm not gonna wait for the motion, response, reply, submission, court reviews it. I've got a lot of cases, and the clock's gonna be running. So we now have our trial date, and if your motion is denied, or if we need a trial date, at least we have this now. This will be the date we all work back from. We don't wait for pretrial motions to keep the wheels of justice turning. Okay? So I'm not prejudicing your right to file whatever you want to. The court will look at it in good faith and make an informed decision.
Thank you, that's all I ask.
Okay? Anything else from the state?
Thank you, no.
All right. The court's in recess. Have a good afternoon, everyone.
All rise.